Yep. Do. Where is transform? Rotate 180 degrees. Bam. There we go. Alrighty. All right, let's get some water. Do. Okay, all right. Welcome to this live stream. Today we're going to be painting some ships that we had commissioned, and we shared commissions with other people from the Chiss Ascendancy, or the Empire of the Hand. These ships were meant to be a quick entry whoop. These ships are they were meant to be the initial entry, or they are meant to be the initial entry for the Armada Nexus community to get into the Chiss Ascendancy, or the Empire of the Hand. So several months ago, quite a long time ago, we reached out to Corey Loses, the head developer for the Clone Wars, or the Thrawns Revenge mod for Empire at War, because they have some designs that they made for that game specifically that are kind of like the embodiment of the Chiss. So we reached out, asked for specific permission to use those designs as a inspiration for the ships that we wanted to 3D print, and we got permission to do that. So now we're gonna follow up on that, paint these, and send them off to Corey Loses. Hey Alex, we need to do some quick what's it called? What's the word I'm thinking of? Some quick housekeeping. Some quick housekeeping real quick. We need to make sure that people know that we're streaming in all of the right places. And let's grab this. I have no idea what that sound was. That's an alarming sound. Okay. Alex has a policy. I see you streaming, I watch. That is a good policy to have. So we're gonna write paste live streaming some painting of some Armada scale Chiss ships. Control C. And then we're going to go to Star Wars Armada. And post that there. Okay. Then the relevant discords. Oh, don't touch your microphone. That's terrible. Alex says, example, I'm walking right now down to Walgreens, but you're streaming, so I watch while walking. Hey, that is dedication. You can't ask for more dedication than that. We're gonna post in modeling and painting in Armada Legacy. We're going to post in mod paint DIY in Armada Nexus. We can't post in the content creator portion of the Armada hub, so we're going to put in painting mods and collections and homebrew. And then a couple other places where it's relevant, like Mos Eisley and self-promo on Second Dynasty. And I think that's it for relevant discords. I don't want to inundate people that don't want stuff. Okay, so we have Speed Paint Ashen Stone. We have Speed Paint Gravelord Gray, which is one of my favorite paints. We have Speed Paint Medium that we're going to use to dull the intensity of our wash. If we decide to use the wash, we're going to use Ashen Stone first. We have some Mechanicus Standard Gray. We have our own little mix. This isn't actually lead bilger, it's a little different. Warpaint Fanatic Greedy Gold, Vallejo Model Color Bronze. And then we have Arcane Blue for Engine Glow. And we have Aethermatic Blue for the hanger segment of the Ascendancy. So that is what we're dealing with today. We've got our paint brushes. We've got a couple of napkins. Gonna touch the mic. There we go. And here we go. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna get a whole bunch of Ashen Stone, and we're gonna do all of our ships at once in Ashen Stone to get a base coat down. That way, as we're working on other ships, the ones that we're waiting for can dry. So, Ashen Stone. So I have been using Holy Water for my Imperial ships, but I really like Ashen Stone for ships like the Chiss ships, because it's gray, but it's a different gray. So we're going to go in here, and we are going to just put a whole bunch in here. We're going to use every single bit of that. We're going to slightly dull it down with a little Speed Paint Medium. Okay, and then we're going to mix that up with this nice flat brush, this cheap Taklon brush you get from Amazon, Michaels, whatever. Okay, so Gonna go in here, gonna make sure that's all mixed in, and then we're gonna go boop, boop. And just get it all on these guys so that they can start drying. We're not gonna do too much with the fighters because they're fighters. What coloring do you expect to have on them? But we want to make sure that each portion of the surface is getting it. The whole world runs on ads, so this is an ad. If you want to support us, visit printedstarships.com or our Etsy store, which is Pulse-Fired Gaming. And if you see something that you like, purchase it. And that's really all the support that we can ask from you or anybody. And so we're going to let those dry. And we're going to move on to... I guess we should do the ascendancy first. Let's go from largest to smallest first to get extra drying time. I'm going to grab a B.W. Reynolds stand here. And that's how we're going to hold this guy. We can go in. We are not expert painters by any stretch of the imagination. So if you're looking for expertise, you are not looking in the right place. We should probably turn on some music since we already credited Carl Casey from White Bat Audio. Oh, you know what we should do? There's one more color that I think we need. As soon as we're done putting down this layer, we will grab that. We want our Archive X Engine Black. This was from a set that I think they still make. They may have stopped making it and then started making it again. It's a Star Wars set that they sell. Alex Pearson says, product endorsement. I have a bunch of Legion scale figures and some custom printed trucks from Printed Starships. Product came quickly, well priced, and good quality. Thank you so much, Alex. Okay, what are we looking for? We are looking for music, so we're going to go into, what is that, documents on this computer, and then White Bat. I guess we'll just start playing music, and then we're going to have to turn it down quite a bit. There we go. Okay. Turn that down. Will this continue for the next track? Yes, it will. Okay. Excellent. Alright, let me know if that's too loud. Hey, we got to have the right colors, man. We need to have them. Okay, so going on here, we're gonna hit the bottom of the Peltast. So let's talk a little bit about the process of how these ships were chosen and sculpted. January 2025, I'm sitting in Arizona at my sister-in-law's house, and we decided that, you know, we had started doing commissions with commission requests with Ravensfell, who is a fantastic sculptor, and we put out a list of about 30 items that we wanted to see. Basically, these were ships that we wanted or thought that would be cool to have in the Star Wars Armada scale that we didn't currently have access to. So on that list was some stuff from Knights of the Old Republic, stuff from the Old Republic MMORPG. We had stuff in there from the New Republic, like the Resistance, and what else? As well as just like 6mm stuff, stations and other buildings for Star Wars that we wanted. And we started that. We shared that with Ravensfell because that was going to be our plan for 2025. And we went in and basically said, hey, this is our plan. And then we also shared that with a whole bunch of other sculptors. We support lots of sculptors as far as being invested in the merchant side of the Star Wars Armada community and 3D printing. So we talked to Sussy, O'Neill Creations, Tyrell Lore, Ethan Leroy, Ravensfell, obviously, a couple other guys. And we basically said, hey, this is what we're looking for in this year, and if you want to get on that, that's awesome. Otherwise, we'll end up commissioning it ourselves from somebody, from whoever gets the commission. We also, a couple months later, picked up a license for a 3D modeling program that we use on our iPad. Don't touch your mouse, Brandon, or your microphone. Called Shaper 3D. And if you followed it with us at all, you know that we have been using the heck out of Shaper 3D. So not only have we commissioned other people to make starships for us, but we have also done an okay job. Not a great job. It's pretty basic. I think our music stopped. Here, this is what we need to do. Let's go here, and then there, and then hit that. Is this going to do what we want? I do not know if this is going to go to advance to the next track, so we're going to find out. Get a big ol' mix. Okay. Now we're going to start flipping these guys over. And I think that's going to be too loud, so we're going to go over here, turn that down a little bit, and keep going. We're not going to go in the center trench here for the Venator style hangar trench, because we're just going to go in there with Aethermatic Blue later and get that done. See, this is the benefit of having painted these before. We kind of know what marching orders we're going to go and do. So we've been working on both factions of the Old Republic with the Republic ships, like we've done the Foray and the Hammerhead. We have worked on the Valor, though I think we need a little more work on the Valor before we actually publish it for consumption. Okay. And then we have also done some other stuff, like some 6mm stuff. We did some small scale stuff for the new Battle of Hoth game that's coming out. There's a special promo kit that includes a 3D. Well, let me go grab it. A 3D shield generator and ion cannon. And someone said, hey, I bet you could do that pretty quick. And we did. This is what we ended up doing. I think these are the right sizes. We're not going to know until we get our copy, where we might adjust these, and then we'll make sure that these get thrown up on Colts 3D. But yeah. So, we've been doing our own stuff. These ships were all commissioned through Ravensfeldo. And he did fan-freaking-tastic. We had some other samples to look at. And when I say we, I mean there's a Discord user named Desolate Control who started the project by ponying up the first part of the commission for Ravensfell. And then I followed along later and co-sponsored some other ships. So that is how these ships came into play. Now these specific ones are going to go out probably next week, I think, is when we'll probably have these ready to go. Like, we're not going to finish painting these today. Because we have lots of other stuff to do, man. Holy crap. Running an Etsy store is not fun and games. It is work, 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 work. My wife, who's been handling all of our fulfillment, has been doing an amazing job. Shout out to Julie, the fulfillment manager for the Etsy store. If you wonder why we have reviews talking about how fast we are and how well packaged our stuff is on our Etsy store, it is because Julie, the fulfillment manager, has been kicking ass. Right now, if I look at our Etsy store order fulfillment, so today is the 9th, right? And we are working on orders through the 22nd. So we have 5 on the 22nd that are ready to ship on Monday. And then one of them's going to get delayed because the customer requested that we ship with his other stuff. And he is a huge Babylon 5 order. That'll go out fairly soon. Because we basically, he ordered from us, and then he basically put in another order that's the same and more. So we need to make sure that his stuff gets out. Alright, so this is the base coat for all of the ships. Alright, so this was Ash and Stone. I'm going to put that big paintbrush away, and we're going to grab our boys over here. And really, with the fighters, we're only going to do, I think, we'll end up putting down color on the cockpit and then color on the tips. So these guys will be very quick to do. I'm actually going to grab, talking to Mr. Shergal there. We are going to grab... Where is it? Where is the color? At some point we need to clean our painting desk up so we can actually paint from our painting desk instead of our table, but that is a goal for another day, unfortunately. Okay, I don't see... Oh, there it is. There it is. Grim Black, baby. Okay. Gonna go in here, pour some Grim Black in our hard palette. So Shrigal said, am I saying that right? Can I read? Shergal said that he goes overboard with colors. I think if you do it right, you can't go overboard with colors. I don't think you can actually achieve overboard if your colors work. So in here we're going to hit each of our cockpits real quick with some Grim Black. This is straight Grim Black. It's going to activate the paint a little bit because we haven't given the paint too much time to dry, but that's okay. Okay. Oh, that was messy. Let's not do that again. Again, we don't purport to be professional painters. We're just people who like to throw paint on our models. Like when people talk about table quality is the only thing I'm interested in most of the time when I'm when I'm painting my 3D prints. Get that stuff done so you can get it on the table. Okay, so we've got gray, we've got black. So we want, I think, a little bit of a contrast. So we're going to use greedy gold for the tips of these Chiss Clawcraft. I'm going to throw that in our palette just a little tiny bit. And so we don't make people mad, I'm going to use a different paintbrush. You can do the tips of these. Have no idea what Corey loses is going to think about this stuff. But that's okay. Alright. See, don't those tips look good? Yeah. Alright, so that. Now, we could do one more tiny thing. One more tiny thing. We're going to grab our Gravelord Gray. Actually, no. We're going to grab our Nuln Oil. Ooh. Ooh. No. No. This is what we're going to do. Going to grab our Gravelord Gray. I'm going to throw it in another bin. And then we're gonna, so 2 drops of Gravelord Gray, 1 drop of Speed Paint Medium. We're gonna stir that in. We're using our base little STC paint. And then we're gonna hit this guy. Well, let's try just going over the top and see if that works. Alright, it sure does. Okay, so we're going to do that. Nope, that's a little too much. Boop. Boop. You can see, oh, you can't see that. Why doesn't this look good? Maybe it's not close enough. Oop. Alright. We got a lot of sides to do this on, so now we're going to turn these to the side. Actually, we will physically turn them to the side on our paint stick. and hit the two sides here. It's a little too much on that one. I'm going to go back and grab that color. Going there. And alright, so that side's done. Now we're going to turn to the other side. Grab the other side. So we're 50% done. As of today, so what do we have on our workbench? We have a special project from a customer who requested that we print a provided file for the Fondor shipyard for them, which we've got drying right now. We finished that last night, and then the customer is going to want. We probably need to do one revision on that, and then we will get that sent off. If you are watching this and you have 3D files that we don't offer, but you have, feel free to contact us, because we will 3D print basically anything you give us, as long as it is good enough to 3D print. We've had some files where we've had to decline because the quality of the 3D prints weren't going to be good enough when we were done. But that's pretty rare. So if you have custom requests, like Alex Pearson in chat alluded to, feel free to swing on by. Sales at printedstarships.com, or contact us on our Etsy store. Alright, so those are the Clawcraft. Let's do that. And that. And that is Clawcraft done. So, we're going to move those to the back. So, how do we want to do this? We're going to do biggest to smallest, smallest to largest. Let's do smallest to largest. Actually, no. We started printing the Ascendancy, or painting the Ascendancy first, so we could actually paint it. So, we are going to use some more Gravelord Gray. Actually, we're going to grab this guy real quick and hit him with some Engine Black. This is... Okay, so we're going to go in here real quick, mix that up, mix. And then we're going to go in here and knock out some supports. And hit these engine cones with some black. I think on our second pass we'll remove the remaining supports from there. With painting, I look at it the same way that I look at PDR. It's okay if you mess up, as long as you can go back and fix your mistakes. So, don't mess up anything that you can't fix. And if that means that you need to get better at your craft, then get good, scrub. But you're allowed to do mistakes. Just at the end of the day, what you need to turn in is the best that you can do. Because the best that you can do is all that you can do. So I'm going to go in here with the top. Alrighty, so there are the engines there. We're going to go in real quick and slap stuff on each of the engines. On here we're going to call this an engine. So the outside's going to get hit with engine black. Alex says, I've been listening Mondays to Stefan and Nick on Smash Masters podcast on YouTube. They're all about PDR. A lot of the PDR people, a lot of the PDR, we'll say personalities in social media are kind of just dicks that are there to sell tools. But there's some good guys out there. I get exposed to PDR content through Facebook, and there's some stuff that I really like on there. I finally, after watching some lateral tension videos, decided to get a cheap lateral tension bar to play around with so I could figure out if it was something that I could fix. By the way, if you don't know, PDR is paintless dent repair. So if your car gets dented but the paint isn't damaged, there are tools and there are specialists who can repair the damage without having to go to a body shop and make it look, if you're good at your job, make it look as good as new, or like 90% as good as what it was when it was new. If you're in the United States, pretty much every single car dealership that exists employs someone who does paintless dent repair. So it's a relatively competitive field where, and it involves like a lot of patience, time. For a car medic, which is the company that I work for, you graduate from the classroom training at 7 weeks. And at that 7 weeks, you don't know anything. You basically know how to breathe and use your eyeballs to kind of look at a dent. Kind of. So it takes anywhere from when you leave training, you're going to an area that is already exists and is being developed for you in a partnership agreement that you have with the person that is basically saying, hey, I have a spot open. And it could take you between 3 months all the way up to a year to be ready to go out on your own and develop your skills in your territory on your own. And then from that year, it probably takes most PDR guys 2 or 3 years to feel competent at their job. But you should be learning like every single day how to be a better dent guy. That means challenging yourself to try stuff that you don't think you can do. And you can't really do that in a retail environment, but you can absolutely do it in a environment like a dealership where they're going to have stuff that they're taking in trade-in that they know they're going to send to the auction. So you could say to them, hey, you're going to send this to the auction. How about you let me play with this and see if I can make it better? And if they say yes to that, there you go. You have carte blanche to improve yourself on maybe a dent that you don't think you can do, or you think, oh, well, maybe I could do this, and then you go in and you do it, and when you're done doing that process, you show the guy and show your manager your point of contact, and maybe they'll say, hey, that looks great, or oh, well, I guess it didn't come out. And if you're not pushing yourself to get better, you are not getting better, you're getting worse. This kind of knowledge, this kind of craft, some people call it a trade, and it's not really a trade. It's kind of a trade, but it's not really a trade. It's a skill that if you do not improve, you decline on over time. And I've seen all kinds of dent work on cars, and let's be honest, including my own, where I've been like, someone got paid for that, but damn, does that not look good? Got some bleed over. Stop that. But if you're not improving in your life, you're getting worse. There is no such thing as like static. You're never static in your career, ever. And that does not just apply to PDR. That applies to everything. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So you should always be reaching out to get better. And that's my little mini rant based on the very limited life experience that I've had. But painting starships is what I'm doing. So here we go. Let's make sure that that is on screen. This is Gravelord Gray that we're using in the trenches here. I like to use Gravelord Gray in areas where my expectation is that, like, on the top of these panels, like, my thought is armor. Like, the reason why the panels are shaped that way, the reason why they interlock, is because these are armored plates that need to be protected when they're facing the enemy. And while there might be some armor in the trenches, I'm thinking that most of the time the armor isn't in the trenches. The trenches aren't really meant to take hits. Because when you're in a starship, you can, move your starship so that it's taking hits on hull. Or shields. Remember that this is the Star Wars universe, so pretty much everything has shields. Not everything, but pretty much everything. You get some scum faction ships that don't have shields, like the Vengeance frigate. I think doesn't have shields, or is it? They might have shields, but they don't have lasers. They have mass drivers, which is, I guess, something different. But okay, so on here, I think we're going to do the same thing in this part right here. Some more Gravelord Gray, Gravy Lord Gray, baby. Let's throw that up. Get in here. We're just going to coat this whole section. Now, when you're painting like this, when you're just leaving like the whole paint in there, you got to make sure that dries before you tip it over, or it's going to run out into the rest of your paint job. So we're going to let that guy sit for quite a while he dries. Okay, moving to the Peltast. So we have got Gravelord Gray done on this guy and this guy. On the Peltast, we're going to do it right here, maybe right here, and then in the trench. Before Ravensfell had completed this commission, Desolate Control, the other guy that I had partnered with to bring these ships to life, as far as commissions go, we didn't actually do the work, but he had contacted another guy who had made some heavy modifications to the actual file from the game. And I don't know if Desolate looked at it, and I looked at it, and I was like, this is absolutely from the game, because I have those game files from years ago when I was more about 3D printing game files than high quality STLs. And I was like, look, this is from the game. because I can open up the game file and see that this polygon is the exact same polygon as it was in the game. So we eventually made the decision that, you know, we should probably just get the commission done from Raven, because he had already done the Chaff and the Ormos, and we knew that we were going to commission the Ascendancy anyway. So they have some pretty cool ships in the for the Chiss and for the Empire of the Hand. The Ascendancy has some pretty cool ships, and the designs, the majority of the designs that exist in 3D are designs from Thrawns Revenge, that team that did the 3D modeling for that mod. Like, when you see those Chiss ships, those are ships that they designed and brought to life. And we're just standing on the shoulders of giants, creative-wise, with these designs. Like, I know that Raven did these specific 3D models from scratch, but you can't look at this and look at their mod and be like, oh yeah, I could see that this was heavily based on this design. Now, I don't know if there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but alright, I think that is kind of it for that guy. So before we do the last Gravelord Grey, we're going to pause and we're going to grab some Aethermatic Blue and shake the hell out of it and paint directly from the pot onto the model and do the... Basically, this is supposed to be the shielded hangar deck, similar to you'd see on an open Venator. So a Clawcraft or some other small craft could be just flying out of this. Like, walk to their craft on deck, walk into it, grab it, and then just fly out of the shield. Alright, see, that was easy enough. Okay, so there's that. Wash that paintbrush. Gonna go back to Gravelord Grey on the sides here. Like I said, it is my favorite paint of the speed paint range. Gravelord Grey. Okay, where is my medium? There it is. It's underneath the stand. Couple drops. Stir, 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 stir. Okay. Use a big brush on this. Talking to Raven the other day, he, the sculptor of these ships, was complaining because he was having a whinge, I guess. He's from the UK. Because he was expecting his new computer, because he bought a new computer to do sculpting better. He was expecting it that day, and he realized, or he was expecting it that day so he would be able to have time to get it set up on the weekend, and they said it was going to get delivered on Friday, but it didn't. I gotta stop hitting the camera. Gonna make people sick. Alright. While we're letting that sit, let's go in here and remove some supports. Let's see here. consistent one right there. Okay. Alrighty. Set that down. Let's grab a small brush and start doing some crevices. Things that we have coming up on the storefront. We have some 10mm infantry coming for Star Wars regiments. We just put up the Union Vanguard troops from Skullforge for Legion. Those are clone commandos. That listing is already up today. We have a new sculptor that we're going to be having show up in our store, War Daddy, who makes stuff between 6 and 10mm. Modern stuff and then slightly futuristic stuff. What else do we have coming out? Oh, we have a couple X-Wing ships coming out pretty soon. We have the... Oh, what's it called? The ship from... It's called the... It's a Weequay... What is it? It's the Weequay Marauder? Let's see here. Go slightly use... Yeah, the Weequay Marauder pirate ship. It's also known in, I think, the Star Wars universe as the Amshak Corvette. And that's coming out pretty soon. That's printed. We just have to get it out. And we're doing a ton of restocks. Like we when things sell out, we restock that immediately, but we actually then have to go physically print that stuff. Alright, so that is the Gravelord Grey for all of these. So now we're gonna look at... We're gonna wait a little bit on engine glow. So we probably should do... Alright, so we're gonna do Greedy Gold for weapons and bronze for things like shield bulbs.
Where did this baby pee last?
I don't know.
You didn't take her out at all?
No, I've been here streaming the whole time. I don't know if that is mixed enough, but we're going to hit that right there. Right there. That is definitely not mixed enough. Oopsie. Okay. Then this guy... Oh. It would help if that was actually on screen. And then this guy. These guys. That. We're going to have to do a second coat on that. That's okay. Alrighty. Now, let's go get our gold. Start hitting some weapons. We've been talking a lot with the one of the moderators, one of the guys who runs Armada Legacy, Dodie, about what like a deluxe offering would be that we could offer the community. And he's been working on these very high detailed 3D printed tokens. Like we have these tokens that we sell, except the LOS dots and the name are now white for ships, so that people can basically the idea is that you want to remove the barrier to entry for people to put ships on the table. So we offer the tokens and then stands, because you can get ship cards and stuff digitally through Starforge, star.forge, or star/tool. Excuse me, star-forge.tools, and you can use that to basically print proxies of whatever you need, so you can put your ships on the table. But you still need the tokens with the LOS dots in your arcs. So he has these deluxe tokens that he's been working on, and we've been talking about it. I think we're going to offer them in a painted ship bundle that we've been talking about. So far we've talked about, let's see here, let's go to Discord. We've talked about the Venator, the Arquitans, the Quasar, the Munificent, offering the Wave 0, the Armada Legacy Wave 0, and then squadron expansions like Rebels 1, Empire 1, Rebels 2, Empire 2, Separatist 1, Republic 1. And then basically boxing those up with ship cards that are professionally printed, ships that are 3D printed and then painted by us, those tokens in a kind of like a box that's basically intended for retail, for people to purchase and basically keep enjoying the game. Because the Star Wars Armada, the game that these ships are scaled for, was canceled in June of 24, and then their final update, the final thing that the company was doing was Worlds. So the month of June 2025 was the first month that the community was entirely on their own. So we want to make... The one thing that attracts a lot of Star Wars Armada scale buyers is that when you buy a retail ship that was made by Fantasy Flight, those ships come pre-painted. And so we want to see if offering those painted ships and that deluxe kind of like retail out of the box experience attracts people. So you should look forward to those. We're going to take possession of some of that stuff first week of September. But after the first week of September, it will take time for us to paint everything that we want to paint and get everything said and done. So we're hoping by the end of the year. Christmas would be, I think, an ideal time to have that ready for. But that means, the Christmas season, from a manufacturing perspective, we want to have that basically done now. Okay, so we have taken care of the greedy gold. We're going to shake the heck out of our bronze and see if we can do a second coat of that bronze. Go over here to our vortex mixer. Shake, 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 shake. Okay, we need to catch up on chat. Alex says, look right, look ref, look right. You should add the section F for Arkham hobbies on printed starships. They have some Legion scale vehicles. Let's take a look at Arkham hobbies real quick. Can we... I'm assuming that's on... So we today signed up to be a War Daddy merchant. So you're saying Arkham Hobbies. Let's see if they're on Patreon. No, are they on? Alex, what are you talking about? Are you talking about Arkham Horror? Or is it something else? They have a tribe. They have supporters. Alex, if this is what you're talking about, this Arkham Horror stuff, they don't offer a merchant license, so we wouldn't be able to sell them. So, but if you're not talking about them, let us know so we can figure out what to look at. All right, so we mixed up our bronze so we could go do another coat on our little engine bulbs to make them look a little better. Okay. Those definitely look better. All right, so let's go through. Gonna need that. Gonna need that. Gonna need that. We may not end up doing a normal shade at all. We don't need Grim Black anymore. We don't need Gritty Gold or Bronze. I don't think we need Gravelord Gray. We don't need Aethermatic Blue, and we don't need Engine Black. We're not going to need this version of Ashen Stone. What we're going to need is this version, Ash Gray, to do touch-ups where we messed up the colors and then go back over that with Ashen Stone later. But that is not a today thing. We have been streaming for about an hour, so let's do the final touch on these regular things, which is grab our P3 Arcane Blue and yeah. Okay. Big paintbrush for our big engine cones. Make sure we're actually doing this on camera. Bloop. Hey, are you breaking that microwave in the back?
Nope.
I'm going to do a quick coat on all the big engine cones. This doesn't have big engine cones. This has 6. Ah! No! This is your reminder that we are not professional painters. Okay, so those are all the big engine cones. Now we're going to grab our small brush, do our small engine cones. By the way, this is your reminder, we are a 3D printing shop. So if you see anything 3D printed on our channel, including this video, any of the other videos that we offer, we sell all of those things. Whether it be stands like these BW Reynolds stands, paint sticks, all of these ships that we have on here. We offer Star Trek, well, actually we don't offer Star Trek officially. Star Wars, Stargate, Expanse, Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica. If you have ever seen the starships made by EC3D, we can print those. Although we never have gotten anyone as a taker for those. The creator, Googleplex, who did several factions in kind of a full thrust scale, and then recently took down all of his 3D print files. We can even print those for you, because we still have all of those files that they generated. And a license to produce them. And I definitely see places that we're going to need to go back before shipping these out and touch up. That's okay. Be kind of weird if we got it perfect the first time. PrintedStarships.com, or if you want to feel more safe, not trusting some random dude on the internet, Pulsefired Gaming on Etsy. So etsy.com/pulsefiredgaming or pulsefiredgaming.etsy.com. Any of that support is, the lifeblood of what we do. You're paying my wife's salary by purchasing from us on Etsy and PrintedStarships.com, as she is our queen of fulfillment. All right, little baby bit, little baby bit, little baby bit. Glow, glow, little baby bit, and little baby bit. Alrighty. So we are going to leave it there for today. So we have put some good base layers and some tiny little bits of highlights on the Ormos Carrier, the Chaff Destroyer, the Ascendancy Destroyer, and the Peltast Star Destroyer, which is kind of like it's a glass cannon. If you're familiar with Star Wars Armada, think a different version of the Onager. But thank you very much for watching. Leave any comments on here on stuff that you'd like to see from us in the future. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Watch our content so we can eventually get monetized. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great